Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're going to begin another book together. That's right, we are still in the month of February, and we have covered several books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and the book of Job. This has been quite the journey we've been on together, and if you've never read the Bible through cover to cover, this just might be your year. All right, so 3-Minute Thoughts is a 3-minute podcast that releases every day to help walk us through a section of Scripture. This morning, we are looking at Numbers chapters 1 and 2. The book of Numbers is really a book about, you guessed it, numbers. All right, so as we look at chapters 1 and 2 of this book, we need to kind of understand a little bit. We have an issue a lot of times in Christian churches talking about numbers. We're afraid that if we start measuring numbers or evaluating numbers, we're kind of taking away some credit that might belong to God. Well, there's an entire book here devoted to numbers, so they're obviously important to God. And if you jump ahead to the book of Acts, the whole first portion of the book of Acts, there's a lot of talk about numbers. 3,000 were added to their number in one day. That's a number. And so sometimes we have to measure the measurable things. Now, these numbers are there so that we can understand some of the statistics and some of the boundaries and some of the ways that God moved in his people throughout history. Numbers chapter 1 is going to open with God telling Moses to take a census of Israel's fighting men, those men who are 20 years or older from each tribe. Obviously, each tribe except for the Levites, who have their own special duties. The total number that was calculated for the warriors would be 603,000 plus people. That's a huge number. It's a great reminder that God's people are vast and ready to enter the promised land. The census, though, isn't just about numbers. It's about order and readiness and God's faithfulness in growing Abraham's descendants into a mighty nation. A thing we've got to keep in mind when we talk about numbers, they're not just about growth and growing. They're also about order and organization. God is a God of tremendous order, and this is an obvious illustration of that. Now, if we turn to chapter 2, God is going to give detailed instructions on how the tribes should set up camp around the tabernacle. The arrangement isn't random. God's presence is at the center, 3 tribes on each side, 3 by 3 by 3 by 3, that's 12. Judah's camp leads the way when they travel, reflecting leadership and blessing. All of this is done so that we can understand that there's names and numbers, but they're ultimately reminding us that God sees and values every person, and he obviously demands order over chaos. All right, that's all we've got time for today. Be well, friends.